Good Saturday morning, everybody. This is game one of the final four in May Madness. I understand we're in June, but due to circumstances I was not able to control, couldn't get everything done by the end of May, so we're wrapping things up here with a doubleheader, but this case it's going to be a split doubleheader, day-night doubleheader, if you will. First game of the final four is going to be the 2015 New York Mets taking on the 1993 Philadelphia Phillies. And the starting pitchers are, as you see them there, Jacob deGrom for the Mets and Tommy Green for the Phillies. The second game of the doubleheader, which will be later on today, later this afternoon, will pit the 1969 Baltimore Orioles against the 2004 Boston Red Sox. So as we allow people to tune in, we'll go ahead and get going here. Thanks to whoever joined. This is, as I was saying earlier, this is game one of the final four of May Madness, even though we're in June. It's 2015 Mets against the 1993 Phillies. Your starting pitchers, Jacob deGrom and Tommy Green. So we'll go ahead and meet the starting lineups. First for the visiting, even though there's really no home team other than last at bat, the New York Mets of 2015. Leading off will be right fielder Curtis Granderson. Batting second and third base is David Wright. Hitting third, center fielder Yoenis Cespedes. Batting cleanup at second base is Daniel Murphy. Batting fifth, first baseman Lucas Duda. Batting sixth, catcher Travis d'Arnaud. Batting seventh, left fielder Michael Conforto. Batting eighth at shortstop is Wilmer Flores, and batting ninth is second baseman DH Kelly Johnson. And that is the actual starting lineup from game one of the 2015 World Series. So I figured why not use that. Good morning, Tribe fan. I'm only playing one game, not a doubleheader right now. I will play one later, but it'll be a split doubleheader because I think Tenacious wants to get a game in this morning as well. So I'm trying to get this in before hopefully I'm not crossing over. Hope not. All right, so leading off for the 93 Phillies will be Lenny Dykstra in center. Mariano Duncan is at second base. John Kruk's at first base, hitting third. Dave Hollins will bat cleanup and play third base. Darren Dalton is the catcher. He'll hit fifth. Jim Eisenreich is in right field. He'll hit sixth. Ricky Jordan's the DH. He will hit seventh. Milt Thompson will bat eighth and play left field. And Kevin Stocker is the shortstop, batting ninth. And that is the actual starting lineup from game one of the 93 World Series. So I figured, be fair, I'll just use the teams used in their game ones of their respective World Series. So Tommy Green is on the bump. And hopefully you can see his card fairly well. Got as close to it as I could and still be able to see the dice roll. So we're underway. Granderson against Tommy Green, game one of the May Madness Final Four. First pitch is a 6-6, and Tommy Green against Granderson, the lefty. 6-6 is going to be a strikeout. So Tommy Green starts out in fine fashion for the Phillies with a strikeout. One down, and here's David Wright, third baseman. David Wright is a 1-6, so we're off a Wright's card against a right-hander. 1-6 is a single to left field, so David Wright trying to get things right for the Mets as he gets a one-out single. Here is Yoenis Cespedes, center fielder. Come the big boppers for the Mets. It's a 4-10, so Tommy Green, 4-10. It's a fly ball to right field, and there's two away. And yes, I have the window open, so if you hear the birds, those are not the sound effects like they have, like they had with the Masters. The fake birds chimed in, supposedly. Here's Daniel Murphy, cleanup hitter. And Murphy, it's a 2-6 against a right-hander. 2-6 is a ground ball back to the pitcher. And that's going to end the inning as Tommy Green has a rather uneventful top of the first, going through the Mets' first four hitters without too many problems. Bottom of the first, Lenny Dykstra is stepping to the plate against, we got to move over here and get Jacob deGrom in line. I was debating between deGrom and the Black Knight, Matt Harvey, but deGrom actually had a little bit better numbers, so I went with him. Here's Dykstra. It's a 1-8. 1-8 is a walk, so Lenny Dykstra is going to start things off like a good leadoff man should, getting on base, and he's going to be thinking about running. He is a double-A stealer, and on a double-A stealer, you start out with a 17. It's being held, so that drops him 2 points to a 15, and then the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, is a 0. So it's still a 1 to 15 chance, and Dykstra will make it, so they're going to take that chance. And it's a 1, so throwing error because of that 1 to 3. And Travis d'Arnaud has a 1 to 7 T rating, so if this is a 1 through a error, and Dykstra will make it to third. It's an 8, so barely. I guess Wilmer Flores was able to snag it before it went to center field. But nonetheless, Lenny Dykstra has stolen second base. He's in scoring position, nobody out. For Mariano Duncan, he's in there in place of Morandini because that's just what the Phillies did in '93 in their World Series game. 310 for Duncan against a right-hander. Whoa, that's a good move. Look at that. 1 to 9 is a triple. 10 to 20 is a single with 2 stars, so the run's going to score either way. It's just a matter of whether it's a triple or a single. It is a 6, and that is a triple. So Mariano Duncan, with that 6, has just tripled home Lenny Dykstra, and DeGrom is having issues early on. 1-0 Phillies, runner at third. John Kruk, the batter. Nobody out. They're going to play the infield back. They don't want to give a big inning if they can avoid it. 2 runs wants to be their max. It's a 6-7 for Kruk against a lefty. So DeGrom, a lefty. Ground ball second base X. And the second baseman is Murphy, 4. So could be trouble here. And that's a 13, which I believe is an error check. No, it's not. I take it back. 13 does into the realm of the range, and it's ground ball C. So ground ball C, if we look at the chart, ground ball C says runners advance 1 base. So Duncan will score on the ground out by Kruk, 4 to 3, 1 away, but now the bases are empty. Phillies are up 2-0 early on as they off to a good start. Here's Dave Hollins, third baseman. And Hollins, a 4-11 against DeGrom. Hollins a switch fly ball left field X. That's Conforto. And Conforto is a 4-rated left fielder. That's a 5. So we'll see if he can make that play or whether that's going to fall in. With a 4-rated left fielder, it's kind of questionable. 4-rated in the left field and a 5 is going to be a single. So it will drop in. It's a base hit for Hollins. And the Phillies trying to get something started again. And I'm getting some messages on my phone here about some kind of buffering or something like that. So I'm hoping that my connection's not bad and hoping this is not getting chopped up. If there's any problems with it, someone please let me know. Here's Darren Daulton, Dutch. It's a 4-5 for DeGrom. And that's a strikeout. So DeGrom does come up and get a strikeout of Dutch Daulton for 2 down, and it'll bring up Jim Eisenreich, the right fielder. Eisenreich. It's a 1-7 for Eisenreich against a right-hander DeGrom. 1-7 fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So I guess you could say DeGrom pitches out of what could have been a lot worse trouble. Still gave up 2 runs, and after 1 inning, it's the Phillies 2 and the Mets. And see, it's did again, buffery or temporary something or other keeps popping on the screen. So I'm hoping that's not. All right, Lucas Duda. His name is Lucas, and he lives on the second floor. He's at first base, leading things off this inning. 3-10. To first. It says temporary interruption can occur. Well, that's one of the messages I'm getting. Hopefully that's not the case. So he grounds out to Kruk, first base unassisted. And you have to understand that song to know what I'm talking about Lucas being on the second floor. There was a song from the 80s that was sort of like that, called Luca. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. And d'Arnaud is a 5-10 against Green. 5-10 is a fly ball to center field because we're not playing ballpark effects, so extra. We'll handle it easily for out number 2. Brings up Michael Conforto, left fielder. And that's a 4-4. 4-4 for Green. Ground ball shortstop X. That is going to be Kevin Stocker, and he's a 2. And that is a 15, a 15, and a 2 on the shortstop. 15, I believe, is a good play. I will verify it. Yes, it is. Ground ball A. So play, no problem at all. All right, Tribe fan. Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing the little hic not continue. It says buffering or temporary interruption can occur, but I don't know why. It's not telling me what's going on with that. It's just I'm getting that message here and there, so I'm gonna have to sally forth through it and see. But I'm glad you at least know the song, Susanna Vega. That I didn't remember. Now that you bring it up, I do remember her name now, but I couldn't regurgitate it at the time. Here's Ricky Jordan. And it's a 1-9. 1-9 against on the bump here, don't we? All right, 1-9 for Ricky Jordan is a strikeout. So Ricky Jordan with a strikeout. DeGrom got on the bump just in time to strike out Ricky Jordan, one away. That'll bring up Milt Thompson, the left fielder. That's a 1-6 for Milt. 1-6 is a single for Milt Thompson. Solid single. Solid one-out single brings up Kevin Stocker, shortstop, switch hitter, batting left. Stocker, a 6-8. So DeGrom against a lefty, 6-8 is a fly ball to left. And that's 2 away. Lenny Dykstra, center fielder, is up with 2 outs and a runner on first. We get a 1-9. So a 1-9 for Dykstra. 1-9 is a pop out to the first baseman, Duda. And he makes the play to end the inning. So we go to the third. Score still 2-0 Phillies. And, of course, this is game 1 of a day-night doubleheader, where the second game of the Final Four will be later on between the 69 or... All right, Wilmer Flores stepping to the plate. Flores, that's a 1-3. And Flores, a 1-3, and he's going to strike out. So Wilmer takes the bench, or as Hawk Harrelson would say, he gone. Here's Kelly Johnson, the DA. That is a 2-9 for Kelly. 2-9, and he's going to strike out. I'm sorry, it's a 1-9. I misread that. 2-9, he's going to strike out. How about that? He strikes out on a 1-9, and he strikes out on a 2-9. So covered either way, I suppose. 2 down, and that'll bring up Granderson. Granderson, oops, is a 3-7 for Granderson against a righty. 3-7. A 1-3 is a double. 4-20 is a single. We'll see if Granderson can get extra bases. He needs a 1-3 to do so. It's a 5, so it's simply going to be a single. So a 2-out single for Granderson. He's only a C-rated stealer, so he's not really going to go anywhere. We're going to see if David Wright can do something for him. It's a 4-2. And he's going to fly a ball out to Dykstra in center, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing due for the Mets here in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 2-0. DeGrom still hanging in there. We'll be facing Mariano Duncan, who tripled his first. Duncan, a 6-10. Off of DeGrom, 10 is a ground ball base X. So that's David Wright. And as a third baseman, Mr. Wright is a 3. And that is a 3. So that's going to be a base hit. Duncan sneaks it past him for a base hit. A 3 and a 3. And just to verify, 3 and a 3 is, in fact, a single with 1 star. So Mr. Duncan has a single and a triple. He's 2/4 of the way, or 1/2 of the way, to a cycle. Here's John Kruk. John, I am not a Kruk. 1-6 for Krucky. 1-6 is a single. So base hit for Kruk. And that's going to move Duncan to third. And the Phillies have something going again. And the Mets bullpen may be chiming in early here as DeGrom's getting roughed up. Here's Hollins. Runners at the corners, nobody out there. Double play depth. They want to get 2 outs if they can get it. It's a 3-10. 3-10 for Hollins. 3-10 is another single. How about that? Dave Hollins, another single to right field. Kruk will stop at second base. And scoring is Duncan to make it 3-0. Still nobody out for Dutch Dalton. Struck out his first time up. So 5-8 for a lefty. He's going to fly ball to center field, and that's one away. One down for Eisenreich. We got a, where'd it go? There we go. We got a 4-9 for Eisenreich against, so DeGrom against the lefty, 4-9. A 1-3 is a single. 4-20 out to second. It is a 13, which is a line out to second. For out number 2. Brings up DH Ricky Jordan. Tries to pitch around trouble again with minimal damage. Jordan, a 6'4", he's a righty. 6'4" is a ground ball shortstop X, but that's Wilmer Flores, and he's a 4. So this could be problematic, depending on the role. It is a 17, so that was kind to him. That high number makes the play. And it keeps the Phillies within shot distance as they only get 1 run. It's 3-0 after 3 complete. And we're going to bring up Tommy Green. I'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes. Lead things off here in the 4th. It's a 3-9. 3-9 for Cespedes is, unfortunately for him, a strikeout. So Cespedes will grab some bench. Brings up Daniel Murphy, second baseman. 2-7 for Murphy. A 2-7 for Murphy, ball to center field. And there's 2 away. I'm still getting that message about buffering or something, so I don't know if that's still occurring or not. I'm assuming it is, and I apologize for that. I don't know what's causing it. Here's Duda. 3-6 for Mr. Duda. 3-6 is a fly ball to center field, and that's going to end the inning. And Mr. Tommy Green has gone through the Mets in 4 innings with no problems. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Milt Thompson to lead things off for the Phillies. And we get a 3-5 for Milt Thompson. 3-5. And all these outs, and he found his 1 walk. It's on 3-5. So Milt Thompson, a leadoff walk. Kevin Stocker's an A bunter, so they're going to sacrifice here. He'll become a B bunter since they're expecting it. So the corners are in. He's an A bunter, turns into a B bunter. And the bunt attempt is a 3, so that's usually good when you get those low numbers. He might even beat that out. Let's take a look here on the sacrifice chart. A 3 and a B bunter says batter beats out bunt. How about that? So he tried to give himself up on a sacrifice and actually beat it out. So now runners are at first and second with nobody out. Nails is not going to bunt. He's going to, in fact, it's a 2-5 for Dykstra. 2-5 is a single to right field for Lenny Dykstra. Now the question is, will they score the run? Thompson was being held, so he started out with a 14. He's being held, makes him a 13. Granderson's a +2, so that'll be a 15. So a 1-15, and he will score. And it is a 14, so he barely made it. So they ran on the right fielder Granderson's arm, and they were successful bringing home the run. So make it a 4-0 ball game with runners at first and second. Still nobody out. And DeGrom getting abused here. Here's Duncan. It's a 6-8 for Duncan against DeGrom. 6-8's ground ball third base B. That's a fielder's choice. So Dykstra is out 5-4. 1 away, but it does move Stocker over to third. So runners are at the corners with 1 out. A double play would get him out of the inning. But he has to get by John Kruk to do it. Kruk, a 3-6. 3-6 for the Krukster. It's a fly ball center field B. That's a possible sac fly. So let's look at the totals here for Stocker. He runs at a 12. The arm of the center fielder Cespedes, though, is a -5. So that drops him to a 7. And then you add 2 since it's a question mark. B makes it a 9. A 1-9. Do they want to take a chance 1-9? 9. Let's see if they can't score on the sac fly. It's a 16, so Cespedes just threw him out. It's a double play. So Kruk flies to center for out number 2. And then Stocker is out 8-2 for a double play. And we'll see if that inspires the Mets at all. The Phillies do pick up a run. After 4 innings, they lead it 4-0. But that defensive gem by Cespedes may spur them on. We'll have to wait and see. Travis d'Arnaud will lead things off here in the top of the 5th. They have to get something going against Tommy Green. It's a 3-8. 3-8 for d'Arnaud. And he did it, a single. So maybe that defensive play is going to spark them into something. As d'Arnaud leads off with a single. Brings up Michael Conforto. Conforto, left fielder. Grounded to short his only time up. It's a 1-3 for Conforto. A wall to right field. So that's one away. Brings up Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flintstone, maybe they call him. It's a 1-5. 1-5 is a single for Wilmer. 1 star, so d'Arnaud has to stop at second. But runners at first and second, this is probably the biggest threat that the Mets have had so far against Tommy Green. Here is Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson, a 3-7. 3-7 for Johnson. Oh, all these hits, and he found a ground ball C. How do you like that? He had all these hits in column 3, and he found a ground ball C. So he does ground out. The runners do advance, but now there are 2 outs for Curtis Granderson. But a base hit could score 2 runs. Here's Granderson. And we get a 5-9 against the lefty. Tommy Green's out, Mr. Granderson, to end the inning. Keep the shutout intact. And down go the Mets here in the 5th. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, still 4-0. Mets bullpen is active because DeGrom has been struggling. Dave Hollins steps up to the plate to lead things off. It's a 3-8. 3-8 for Hollins. Is going to be a walk. So Dave Hollins draws a walk to start off the bottom of the 5th. And Mr. DeGrom may not be around too much longer. Here's Dutch, Darren Dalton. He's 0 for 2. That's a 5-6 against DeGrom. And look at this. A 1-6 is a double. 7-20 is a single. 2 stars each. So at worst case scenario, runners are going to be at the corners. Worst case for the Phillies, I should say. Worst case for the Mets is second and third. That's exactly what we have. That 4 fall into that double category. So we have runners at second and third, nobody out. And that's going to be it for DeGrom. He just, for whatever reason, he just didn't have it today. So he is coming out of there, and Sean Gilmartin, the lefty, is going to be taking his place. DeGrom just, maybe they should have used a Black Knight, but DeGrom just did not have it today. So Sean Gilmartin, lefty, will be in there to face the left-hander Jim Eisenreich with runners at second and third, nobody out. They're going to play the infield in. They can runs, really. So it's a 5-8 for Gilmartin. And that's A, and with the infield in, let's check our chart here. Infield in, runners at second and third. Ground ball A is a 1, and a 1 says runners hold. So that was effective by keeping the infield in. So Eisenreich is out, 1 away, and they're going to do the same thing again here with Darren Dalton. I'm sorry, with Ricky Jordan. Ricky Jordan. Infield still in. And we get a 2-6 for Jordan against a lefty. 2-6 for Jordan against a lefty is a ground ball. So let's check this out. Ground ball B with an infield in. With runners to second, third is a 7. Batter safe, lead runner is out. How about that? So they threw home and got Dave Hollins. Call it a 5-2. Dalton will go to third. And Ricky Jordan's at safe at first on the fielder's choice, but they got the lead runner out as they tried to score him. 2 down, and Gilmartin's not away from pitching out of this mess, facing Milt Thompson, another lefty on left matchup. That's a 5-5, and that's a strikeout. How about that? Mr. Gilmartin really earned his keep there and got out of it without any further damage. It's still just a 4-0 ball game. Although a Green's pitching 4-0 sounds like a lot, which it probably is, but it could have been a lot worse. So David Wright will lead off the top of the 6th here against Mr. Green. 2-5, 2-5, 2-5 with a strikeout. How about that? Another strikeout. Green in the conservatory with the wrench, the way this game is going. Here's Cespedes. It's a 1-8. 1-8 for Cespedes is a single to left field. So Cespedes trying to get something going for his team. A 1-out single brings up Murphy. Part of the order they can do damage. That's a 2-12 for Murphy. 2-12 for Murphy, so the runner will advance, but now there's 2 outs. And it's up to Lucas Duda. He's still on the second floor somewhere. 6-11 for Duda against a lefty. And that's a base hit, single to left field. So that's going to have a chance to score a run. We'll check the particulars on the running. Cespedes runs at a 15. He was not being held. And there's 2 outs, makes him a 17. The left fielder, Thompson, is a 0. So 117, and he will score and break the shutout. And it's a 3, so he made it. So that's an RBI single for Lucas Duda. Brings home Cespedes. And the lead is cut to 4-1 with Travis d'Arnaud still up to the plate. 2 outs. d'Arnaud, a 4-10. That's off of Green. So a 4-10 is a fly ball to right field C. And that's going to end the inning. But the Mets at least break through with we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is still, or it is now 4-1. And Gil Martin, who pitched so well in relief in that previous inning, is going to stay in there because you've got Stocker, a switch hitter, and Dykstra, a lefty, coming up. The bat right-handed against Gil Martin. It's a 4-7. 4-7's a... So keeps it going here, 1 away. It brings up Nails, Lenny Dykstra, against his old team, the Mets. And it's a 5-5 off of Gil Martin, and that's a strikeout. So it's a dot there, but he hasn't given up anything, so he's not at his point of weakness. 2 down, and I'll bring up Mariano Duncan, second baseman. That's a 4-7. Gil Martin, a fly to center, and he's going to pitch very effectively in relief. He's going to end up going, I believe he's going to end up going 2 innings. In fact, he is. Yep, 2 innings of solid relief for Gil Martin. He's going to probably have to come out, though, because he doesn't realistically pitch that many innings. So we go to the 7th. It's still a 4-1 game. And this is the point of weakness inning for Tommy Green, so the Phillies bullpen will be active. Michael Conforto stepping up to lead things off. It's a 6-7 for Conforto. Ground ball to second base, that's Duncan. And Duncan, as a second baseman, is a 3. That's 20, so they make the play easily. 1 away. And that'll bring up Wilmer Flores. Flores, 7 against Tommy Green. Flores going to be a single to center field. So Tommy Green giving up a single. That's 1 notch on his point of weakness. Brings up Kelly Johnson. They do have the lefty David West in the bullpen. Here's Kelly Johnson. Oops. Kelly Johnson, a 4-6. 4-6 against the lefty. 4-6 is a strikeout. Has not reached his point of weakness yet, so that strikeout does stand up. 2 down for Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson, the batter. We get a 1-10. 1-10 for Granderson against a right-hander. 1-10 is a ground ball to second, and that's going to end the inning as Duncan will make the play. And down go the Mets here in the 7th. 7th inning stretch time. It is the Phillies clinging to a 4-1 lead over the Mets. And Mr. Gil Martin has done his duty, so he's coming out of there. They'll go to another reliever in the bullpen. And it's going to be Alex Torres, another lefty. So with the lefties in the Phillies lineup, they want another lefty out there. So we'll be coming in and see if he can't pitch the 7th inning. And he'll be starting out facing John Kruk. So it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Torres, a 2-8 against Kruk. So we'll see what Kruk can do against a lefty. 2-8. 2-8 is a single to... Well, it doesn't say to where. I guess to center field for Mr. Kruk. So John Kruk says, I don't care if you're lefty or righty. I'll get a hit. I'll bring up Dave Hollins. 5-7. He's a switch hitter batting right. 5-7 is a ground ball second base X. That is Mr. Murphy. Again, he is a 4 rated second baseman. And that's a 2, so that's a base hit. Probably 2 stars as well. Check it out here. Second baseman, a 4 and a 2 is a single with 2 stars. That'll put runners at the corners with nobody out for Darren Dalton. And Mr. Torres not faring so well. Bullpen activity right behind him. It's a 6-11. Dalton a lefty. 6-11 is a strikeout. So as soon as I say that, he comes back and strikes out Darren Dalton for out number 1. Another lefty matchup is against Jim Eisenreich. Runners at the corners, the infield's at double play depth. 6-7 for Torres. He's going to walk. So Torres gives up a walk, and that's going to do it for Mr. Torres. With the right-hander Jordan coming in, the Terry Collins will go to the bench, go to his bullpen, and get a right-hander out of there. And the right-hander is going to be Hansel Robles. So Hansel Robles is going to be called on to try to see if he can get out of this jam against Ricky Jordan. Bases loaded, 1 out in a 4-1 ball game. Trying to keep it from getting any worse. The infield's still at double play depth. That's a 5-4. 5-4 is a field X, and that's Cespedes. Cespedes is a 3-rated center fielder. And that's a 12, so most likely that is an error check. Almost positive. I'll verify. It is. Well, it came close. A 13 would have been a range check, but a 12 is an error check. Cespedes is an E8. And that's an 8. So an E8 with an 8. An E8 with an 8. And that is a fly ball. A good catch, but it's going to be a sacrifice fly. And that'll bring home John Kruk. And it expands the Phillies' lead to 5-1 for Milt Thompson, with runners at first and second and 1 out. Milt Thompson, a 2-4. 2-4 for Thompson against a right-hander. 2-4 is a single. He had all these outs, but he found his single to left field. And Hollins doesn't run very well, so they're going to hold him up, make the bases loaded with 1 out. I'm sorry, with 2 outs. There are 2 outs, so maybe they won't hold him up. Let's take a look here. He was at second base, and that was Hollins, who runs at a 15, so that doesn't make any sense to hold him up. So he's a 15. He's going to get an extra boost of 17. He was being held, make him a 16. And that single went to left field. Conforto is a 0. So 1-16, he'll make it. So they're going to go ahead and send him since there's 2 outs. And he's in there. So that's actually going to be a single for Thompson. And now the Phillies, not a 2-run single, an RBI single, my bad. Sacrifice fly brought the other run home. So 2 runs are in this inning. It is now 6-1. And Kevin Stocker, the batter. And things are looking dim for the Mets. It is a 1-2 for Stocker against a righty. 1-2 and is hit by pitch. So maybe Robles is getting mad. And they're taking it out on the Phillies. That's a plunk job. It says plus injury, but we're not playing injury in the tournament, so we're going to let that slide. And that'll bring up Dykstra. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 1-11 for Mr. Dykstra against a right-hander. A 1-11 for Dykstra is a foul out to the catcher. Almost in. But it's a foul out to d'Arnaud, and that's going to end the inning. But the Phillies pick up 2 more runs and take a 6-1 lead as we go to the 8th inning. 6-1 lead to start the 8th. Tommy Green's still out there since he has a 5-run lead to protect. But Mr. West is still in the bullpen. Here's Wright to lead off the 8th. 6-7. 6-7 is going to be a ground ball second base X. That is going to be Mr. Duncan, Mariano Duncan. He's a 3. And it's a 4. So could be a hit. We'll see. A 3 second baseman and a 4. 3 second baseman and a 4 is a single. So it did sneak it past him. So David Wright with a base hit. And Tommy Green might be near his last batter, as Cespedes is probably his last one he's going to face. Here's Cespedes. 3-4 for Cespedes. And how about that? All those hits in column 3, and he found the ground ball third base A for a 5-4-3 double play. So now Green may go ahead and finish out the inning since there's 2 outs and the base is empty. And Daniel Murphy stepping to the plate. It's a 2-3 for Murphy against a right-hander. 2-3 is a foul out to the catcher, Dalton, and that's going to end the top of the 8th. Nothing doing for the Mets. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, and just for the heck of it, since it doesn't really matter, they're going to go ahead and bring in Familia, their closer, just because there's no reason not to. They lose this, they're gone anyway, so there's nothing to save him for. To pitch the bottom of the 8th. Facing Duncan. That's a 1-6 for Duncan. That's a base hit. They're even hitting off of Familia, as the Phillies have been on a roll. Here's John Kruk. Got 2 hits today. 1-7 for Kruk. 1-7 for Mr. Kruk is a walk. So Familia, not in a save situation, so he's kind of imploding a little bit, maybe a little indifferent to being put out there. Probably doesn't even want to be put out there. So agent's probably mad. Here's Dave Hollins. Hollins a 5-4. So he's a switch hitter batting left against Familia. 5-4 is a ground ball third base X. That's David Wright. And Wright is a 3 rated third baseman. And that's a 2. So what do you know? It goes from bad to worse. When it rains, it pours. A 3 and a 2 is a single with 2 stars. So that will score Duncan and make it a 7-1 ball game. Kruk will motor to third. And I think they're just going to leave Familia out there to take the brunt of this. Here's Darren Dalton. Dalton a 4-3 against Familia. 4-3 is a single to left field. Found another hit. So that will score Mr. Kruk. 2 runs are in. An 8-1 ball game. Hollins will stop at second. So if you're anti-Mets, you got to be loving this. If you're a Met fan, you got to be not liking this. Here's Eisenreich. 4-5, and it could get worse again. 4-5 is a 1-6 home run. 7-20 is a fly ball to right field B, but there's nobody on third, so it would not be a sacrifice fly. But a 1-6 will be a 3-run homer. It's a 19, so fortunately for the Mets, Eisenreich didn't get all of it. There's one away. Brings up Ricky Jordan, the DH. And that's a 2-6. 2-6 for Jordan. Ground ball third base B, that's a fielder's choice. So Dalton is out 5-4. Jordan will reach on the fielder's choice. Hollins will go to third. Runners are at the corners, 2 outs for Milt Thompson. Thompson to 6-7. To the lefty. 6-7 is a ground ball to second, and that's going to finally end the inning. Familia gets roughed up for 2 runs. We go to the top of the 9th. It is an 8-1 Phillies lead. They're comfortably in charge, and they're going to go ahead and give Tommy Green the rest of the game off, and they'll go ahead and bring in Mr. West. So David West is going to come in and wrap things up here. He'll be facing Lucas Duda to start off the top of the 9th. So Lucas Duda steps to the plate. That's a 6-7. 6-7 against West, against the lefty. He will walk. He had a lot of walks there, apparently. So a lot of walks in that column. How many walks did he have? He walked 51, so that's probably why. 51 in just 86 innings. So, yeah, he did have some control issues there, I guess. Here's d'Arnaud. That's a 3-6 for d'Arnaud against a lefty, and that's another walk. So this one's off d'Arnaud's card. Now Larry Anderson's loosening in the Philly bullpen because looks like Mr. West may be having some issues, and they don't want to end this game in an ugly fashion. All right, Conforto is the batter, and that's a 2-10. 2-10 for Conforto is a pop second, so that's one away. And that'll bring up Wilmer Flores. So Wilmer gets a 6-9. So 6-9 against a righty is a strikeout because it's a dot there, but he hasn't reached his point of weakness. He's only given up 2 walks, not 3. So the strikeout will stand. 2 down. And we're down to Kelly Johnson, the DH. to 5-8. 5-8 is a ground ball second base X, so if Duncan can make the play, the ball game will be over. It's a 15. He will make the play because Duncan is a 3, and a 3 and a 15 is a ground ball C, so it's good enough to make the play. And the ball game is over. So the Phillies, impressive, will move on to the finals with an 8-1 victory over the 2015 Mets. And they will have Curt Schilling rested and ready to go in the finals. The odd thing is Curt Schilling will be pitching for the 04 Red Sox in games they take on the 69 Orioles, and they are. So we're down. We're almost done getting there because I've got other things I want to do besides Strat. But I'm going to finish this tournament. So thank you guys for watching. I'm pretty sure Tenacious Earl is ready to go, probably with a Tenacious Strat League game. I think he'd mentioned that yesterday, that he wanted to play one this morning, so he's probably ready to go with that, most likely. But hopefully this was a warm-up for that, to get everybody woken up and ready for some Strat in the Saturday morning. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Later on this afternoon, I will attempt to play the second game of the Final Four between the 04 Red Sox and the 69 Orioles. And the winner will be taking on Curt Schilling and these 1993 Phillies, who have proven to be tough in their time in this tournament. As a number 9 seed, they made it all the way to the finals. So that's going to do it from here until later on today. You enjoyed the fact that you all tuned in and watched, and hopefully the pitches in the video weren't too bad, and you were able to watch it without too many complications. So that's going to do it from here. Stay tuned for, hopefully, Tenacious Earl will be getting his game going here very shortly. Until next time, or until later today, we will see you down the road.